Hello everybody, this is your host Tribuchon here, and this is Dino Dog, and today we are going to be looking at Ekima Nui. Yes, and the vehicle and the creature as well, as you can see right over here. You don't push it. I'm sorry. But anyways, yeah, this is very big, so before we get into articulation, functions, and lore, let's go straight into figuring out how big this thing actually is, or how all of this is, rather. Couldn't said it better myself. Anyways, let us begin. Alright, take it away, Tribuchon. Alright, so Ekima Nui stands to be about 8¼ inches tall, and the centimeter measurement will be up in the corner. The elemental beast stands roughly about, from its hunched over position, 4 5/8 inch tall. Centimeter measurement up in the corner. The length of this vehicle goes to be about 18 inches. Centimeter measurement up in the corner. And the wingspan of this thing and base configuration is 11¼ inch tall. And the centimeter measurement will be up in the corner. And with all that out of the way, let's go start off with the base figure. Let's take all this out of the way and go straight into articulation. Now, before I begin, let me go ahead and pop this guy off. And the weapons, we'll go into weapon storage since we're talking about it. So the weapons can also store in the back in either this configuration upright or this configuration. It can store both ways thanks to a bar and clip system. All right, articulation-wise, let's go start from the ankles. Ankles go up this far, not very much. Goes down about that much, which isn't that much, but you get a lot of tilt out of this guy, mainly in one direction. Knees, let's go into knees. So knees, as you just saw, they can bend this much, they can stretch this much, so you got knee articulation, and it's not flippy floppy or anything like that. Not only that, but legs, they can go back this far, or they can go back even further, like this far. It all depends on the configuration of the legs. But they can also go up about this far. Usually, they can go up this far, but they can go farther, but it will require posing the knees. And as you notice, the mask did come off, but that is very typical when it comes to G2 mask. He has waist articulation, but we'll go into that later. Head is on a ball joint, so you got wiggly waggly movement. He does all the wiggly wagglies. He can go look up this far, he can look down all the way, he can do the side to side, so he got the curious dog look. Shoulder pads, they are adjustable, they got a little bit of wiggle, and they go up and down. What that means is that you can get full rotation almost. The chest plate gets in the way, but you can go out all the way, but that also means you can cheat it for when it comes to trying to get a particular pose out of him. Elbows, they do the full curl, which is very nice. However, that means he has no wrist because of how his limbs are built. Regardless, he got full finger articulation. He got a opposable thumb, which can, in fact, hold on, let me get a good angle of this. it can spread out this far, and it can go in a bit. So for a good grip, and this is where the weapon connects. It connects on that bar. Fingers are articulated. Now, same thing on the other side. Now, let's go into functions, because this guy has a few. The idea of this figure is to incorporate everything from Bionicle into one MOC. Did I succeeded? Let me know. The only thing that I forgot to add was the kitchen sink. Anyways, let us begin. First function. You can have him swing his arms by rotating his waist, and as you notice, the head stays in place while friction is still usable. So what that means is, while you're using the neck, you can also pose his his neck in all sorts of ways, because it is two separate points of movement, all compressed in the same form of movement. Does that make any sense? Hopefully it does. Also, he has Golly's swimming tool, which is the propellers, so he can swim. Not only that, but he has the walking mechanism as well, but we'll save that for last. What he can also do is store the weapons. Like I said, you can store them in his back, just like so, in either configuration, just like so. And not only that, but you can also remove it. However, note that I did... Oh, okay, that actually worked out quite nicely. All right. Another thing that you can do with this guy is that he can hold his weapons in two separate ways. So they can act firstly as an axe to match with Liwa. So he has a bit of Liwa in him with how they operate, so he can have axes similar to that of Liwa. Not only that, but you can switch it out the other way in case if you want him to have a sword instead. And now he has like a sword-like weapon that he is now holding. So that's an option right there. And I don't think it clipped all the way. Did it clip all? It did not clip all the way. There we go. Now it clipped all the way. Now he's actually holding it. And yeah, not as effective, but you get the idea. He has his weapon. Not only that, but if you want to go ahead and do something a little bit more interesting with this guy, you can also attach the blades in this configuration. That way they can also help with the swimming, but also for acting as an arm blade as well. So you get to do that as an extra thing. So he can now swim if you want him to swim, and because he gets the fins now, and he got the arm blades. So that is an option right there for you. But what these blades can also act as, for how simple they are in shape, they can also become a pair of scissors. And you can use the scissors quite effectively on this guy. You can just attach it right over here, and now he has a pair of scissors at his disposal. And of course, he can still like swing his arms and everything if you want him to use the scissors in a very imposing way. If you really want him to, he can do that. He can do the chop chop. But yeah, so that is his weapons right there. That's his propeller. And now it is time for the other function. Now when it comes to the walker, only thing you had to do is make sure that his legs are in the proper configuration, which is easier, which is actually very simple and straightforward. If not, then it will adjust itself. So there is a connection here, and you just connect it in the back. Now, usually when it comes to my walkers, usually I have them be built into the figure, but because at this scale, usually it's better fit in Titan builds. But because this is a Toa build, you can't necessarily fit something that small into such a frame. So I'm gonna get my handy dandy drill over here, not sponsored, and we're gonna power this thing. And as you can see, he walks quite nicely. All compressed in one build. But that also means that he has more functions because of course he does. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and bring forth this guy's elemental creature. And this just popped off, which is the first time that has done that. So let me go ahead and let me go ahead and adjust that so that he can stand. He's kind of leaning forward a little bit, but he's adjustable. That's the thing about this figure, is that he can be pretty posable despite everything. So let's go ahead and bring on the next the next figure in this, which is his elemental creature, which does not have a name, and the reason why is I based it off of the concept art from Bionicle G2. So call it concept art Jungle Beast. I guess that will work. So, even though it doesn't look like a jungle, but regardless. So he has the stud launchers in the back that you can fire. Not only that, but he has good range of articulation as well. Arms are on ball joints, so you can swing the arms and so which way. Not only that, but his legs are posable as well. So you got a ball joint here, and you got a knee bend as well. What that gets you for articulation for this little guy is quite a lot. So he can kick his legs very high and all that good stuff. Not only that, but as you may have noticed, he also has a gearbox, which can be activated by the twist of a gear, so he can bash. Also, another thing is that it has the MOC function. What I mean is, you just do that and it bites. You know, it is a clippy nippy. Yeah, clippy nippies. It's not a clippy nippy. Whatever you do, do not call it a clippy nippy. It is a grabber claw. Clippy nippy, look at it. It's a clip that nips. Are you serious? Yes, I am very serious. This is a very serious video about a person reviewing their own action figures. Oh dear, Mata Nui. Well, my job here is done. Now, what you can also do with this elemental beast is combine it with the user. So, there are these two pegs on either side. You can pull those out, and that will pop off the stud launchers. And you can just push them back in once you're done. And you got like these two stud launchers, which look pretty cool on their own, and it cleans up this elemental creature a bit more. So if you just want it without the blasters, you can put it without the blasters. But regardless though, you can go ahead and combine these blasters with Ekima Nui, who isn't Mata Nui or Ekimu. So people keep assuming that he is Ekimu, a Toa Ekimu, or a Mata Nui figure, but he's neither. In this instance, he is neither. Think of him as a Toa from the Well of Time, which I ain't complaining at all. So, not only that, but you can also combine the elemental creature, and the feet become thrusters, as you may have noticed. So now, to combine, rotate the head around the other way, lift the arms up, and he just pegs right on there. And then you can just lower the arms if you really want to get balancing done, because this guy is now getting a little bit more top heavy, if you may have not noticed. Not only that, but you can still have him wield his weapons or store them on the back. It is still possible with this figure, believe it or not. So you can just clip his weapons in, and he can grip it in both hands while has the elemental creature on him. And all that wonderful goodness. So now Ekima Nui can now actually kick some booty. Chew gum and kick some butt. And for the record, could have done better with that Duke Nukem joke. I know, I could have done better. But anyways, that is not all this figure can do. He has more things that he can do. By the way, you can still activate the jaw grabbers as well with this. And he can also do the arm swinging as well. So he can climb on the trees if you want him to, so that he looks like as if he's actually climbing with these while flying through the trees. Can use these for swimming or for propulsion, who knows? Because I never really liked the idea of like the creatures just having their legs hanging about. Like some of the bug creatures tend to fare better when it came to the Uniters because the hind legs tend to wrap around the torso. So I was trying to experiment with other options besides wrapping around the torso. But there is more that this guy can do. Yes, that's right. We also have that vehicle. So let's go ahead and straight into that vehicle. All right, let's go. All right, so here's the vehicle. So the rider just simply sits over in the base here. I'm trying to get it into frame. It is hard to get this thing into frame. Let me see if I can get it better into frame for all of y'all. And of course, we can get the rider in the vehicle. We just have to take... You can have everything on him while in the vehicle, but it tends to be a little bit more finicky than it has any right to be. It's very finicky. It has no right to be that finicky, but you can still have him like ride the vehicle just fine. Just gonna bend his legs a bit, and he's pretty clean in the back considering that he has all these play features built into him. He is, and this axle that's used for walking is now going to be used for piloting. There we go. He's in there now, and I get to... pose these. And only thing you had to do to activate the wings is lean him forward. And you can launch that off too, even though that is not intended. Again, this is a tight space. Like, he can barely fit into frame, especially in here. But I can try. Let me see if I can raise the camera more. So, base configuration, he looks like he's flying, and then lean forward, and then he flies forward. So this is based off of the Kahu bird and its function, except I just made it bigger to fit in a vehicle. So it had the thing is that this vehicle was actually supposed to be a bird, and the other function that it was going to be having is a Kanoka launcher versus the typical Zammersphere launcher. However, the issue came to be that my Kanoka disc launcher with a magazine still needed some work done. Because be sure to go ahead and check out the Hikaki Boxer link up in the corner there to go ahead and check that video out to see what I'm talking about. I have made a Kanoka launcher without using a Kanoka launcher, if that makes sense. So yeah, there's that, and he has the vehicle, and wings can expand, and it looks amazing, as you can see. Let me see if I can do it slowly. So, as you can see, the wings spread out naturally, and then they curl up. Yeah. As you can see, they expand. And he stays pretty firmly in there. You know, he's not going anywhere. Also, another neat detail that didn't show up in the music video is that he does have thrusters underneath the wings. He does have some thrusters, which is pretty neat. But yeah, that is this guy, and he does look pretty good. He really does look good, even though he's absolutely huge. That is Ekima Nui for you. Anyways, if you there's not so much in regards to lore. I can contest there isn't that much lore, unfortunately, when it comes to this figure. It is, well, I don't necessarily know a lot about him. That's fair. Maybe there's not any record yet. Maybe he's still out there creating his legend, his story. Yeah, very, very true. Especially since this is a figure that has everything. Except turning into a Borok. I mean, the elemental creature can be 4 legs or on 2 legs. So, like, it kind of has the transformation gimmick as well. Oh, you know what? You got a fair point there. Anyways, that's about it. If you want to go ahead and if you like this video, why not leave it a like? And if you want to see more content like this, feel free to subscribe. And also, don't forget to go ahead and check out ascendingdevs.etsy.com. Tributron makes a whole sorts of custom figures, parts, and more. Because he's working on his very own toy line, so be sure to go ahead and check that out. Link in the description down below. Thank you, Dino Dog. You are most welcome. But I believe that is all for you today. I will see you next week with another creation. Probably, hopefully, who knows? Because this took a long time to make. Alright, see you in the next one. Bye, guys. Toodles.